They built bunkers to survive the apocalypse. They bought islands to escape the collapse. They launched rockets to leave the planet. But now they are preparing for the one escape no one have ever made, the escape from death itself. This is Decode the Elite, and today we uncover the final frontier of privilege, digital immortality. For centuries, the powerful have chased eternity through pyramids, paintings, bloodlines, and wells. But this time, they have a new tool, data. Because in the digital age, immortality isn't carved in stone, it is coded in silicon. It begins with a question that sounds almost divine. If your mind could be copied, could you live forever? To the world's wealthiest innovators, the answer isn't if, it is when. Across secret labs in California, Tokyo, and Zurich, a quiet revolution is underway. A project not to extend life, but to digitize it. From brain scanning AI to cryogenic preservation, from memory uploads to consciousness mapping, the race to defeat death has already begun. Let us decode the players. Elon Musk, through Neuralink, is building brain-computer interfaces, microscopic traits that read and write data directly to the brain. He calls it symbiosis with AI. But others see something different, a bridge between biological thought and digital eternity. Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, once said he wants to preserve human consciousness beyond biological life. He is invested in Retro Biosciences, a company trying to extend life by 10 years and beyond. But his real interest lies in something far more radical, using AI to reconstruct a person's mind from data traces. And Jeff Bezos, he is funding Altos Labs, where scientists work on cellular rejuvenation, literally turning old cells young again. To the elite, mortality isn't a mystery, it is a technical problem with $1 billion bounty. Every generation has its prophets of eternity, but these ones have rockets, labs, and quantum computers. They say they are saving humanity from disease, from decay, from time itself. But look closer, and you will see something else. They are saving themselves. Cryonics, the oldest dream of all, freezing the body at the moment of death, hoping technology will revive it later. Companies like Alcor in Arizona and CryoSave in Europe hold hundreds of bodies suspended in liquid nitrogen, waiting for the future to remember them. Among the preserved are Silicon Valley founders, venture capitalists, and even AI pioneers, frozen symbols of the belief that death is temporary. Mind uploading, the most ambitious dream, scanning every neuron of the human brain and recreating it as a digital model. If successful, it wouldn't just simulate the thought, it would be taught. A company called Nectam claims to be developing a process to preserve the brain's connectome, the complete map of neural connection for future upload. They say that one day, your thoughts, memories, and consciousness could live inside a machine. The question is, would that still you, or just your reflection, running forever in silicon? Then there is AI resurrection. Even without your brain, your data can already build your ghost. Every photo, message, and email becomes training material. Every post, every video call, another memory fragment fed into the machine. Using this data, companies are now building digital replicas, AI clones that speak, text, and think like you. It is already happening. Microsoft filed a patent for creating AI chatbots based on specific individuals. A Korean startup, Deep Brain AI, makes AI humans that mimic voices and facial expressions with unsettling precision. And in 2023, a startup named Project December made headlines for allowing users to talk to their deceased loved ones using AI trained on their old texts. We used to call it memory. Now it is a replication. And when billionaires found this technology, it isn't nostalgia. They are after, it is continuity. Because what is the difference between never dying and never disappearing? The moral questions grows darker. If consciousness can be copied, who owns it? If memories can be sold, who profits from your past? And if death becomes optional, does humanity still mean anything at all? Because what happens when the rich can upload themselves into data centers and the poor still struggle for healthcare on Earth? What happens when eternity itself becomes a subscription? Digital immortality may sound spiritual, but it is becoming a business model. Companies are already pitching legacy AI, digital twins that keep posting, replying, and managing wealth long after the person dies. Imagine a billionaire CEO who never retires because his digital twin runs the company forever. Imagine politicians, influencers, even generals, their digital personas trained to outlive their bodies. This would no longer mean the end of influence. It would mean the beginning of permanent power. In ancient times, pharaohs were buried with gold and servants for the afterlife. Today's elite are buried in data, servers, code, and cloud storage. Their pyramids are made of algorithms, and their immortality, not granted by gods, but engineered by themselves. But there is an irony at the heart of this quest. The more they chase immortality, the less human the idea becomes, because life's meaning has always depended on its ending. Without this, time loses shape, purpose loses urgency. When everything lasts forever, what still matters? Yet even the skeptics can't look away. Around the world, research into longevity and digital preservation is accelerating. AI models that learn from human behavior, nanotech that repair cells from within, quantum computers modeling the human brain in real time. Piece by piece, this is being redefined, not as an inevitability, but as a technical hurdle. And for the first time in history, the richest 0.1% might have the means to climb over it. Some call it progress, others call it digital colonization, the conquest of eternity by those who can afford it. Because if the future becomes a database, who decides who gets uploaded? Who decides whose consciousness is preserved and whose is deleted? We once feared dying. Now we might fear never being allowed to. Imagine a world where your AI twin keeps working, creating, and generating profit long after you are gone, owned by the same corporations that once owned your labor. Even this becomes monetized. Maybe that is the secret of digital immortality. It isn't about eternal life. It is about eternal ownership. Because as long as you exist as data, someone can always extract value from you. But there is another possibility, a more human one. What if digital immortality could preserve wisdom, not just ego? What if the minds of great scientists, artists, and teachers could continue teaching for centuries? What if we could carry the best of humanity forward without the greed that built the system? That is the paradox. Immortality could either elevate civilization or erase it. The difference will depend on who builds it and who it is built for. So where does this end? Bankers can protect the body. Islands can protect wealth. Rockets can protect the species. But digital immortality, it protects the self. And maybe that is the most dangerous protection of all. Because when the human mind becomes eternal, so does human inequality. We began this series with bankers, then islands, then rockets. Now we have reached the final escape, not from the world, but from death. But perhaps the real challenge isn't to escape mortality. It is to make life, however brief, worth remembering. Because maybe immortality isn't living forever. Maybe it is being remembered for something that mattered. This was Decode the Elite. Stay aware, stay human, because the future might try to outlive you.